guys, it's Danny. Welcome back to another 12 by 12 scrapbook layout process video. Today I'm going to be using this cut file. This is from the Silhouette store and I'm going to be scrapping a photo of my little violet. I have a couple of photos here that I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, but I do end up using the color photo. And most of the products I'm going to be using today are from the Traveler's Notebook online. As you can see there, I have the Cocoa Vanilla More Than Words collection kit that is sold out, unfortunately, but they do have a lot of the newer Midnight collection, so definitely check out the Traveler's Notebook online if you want to pick up some Cocoa Vanilla Studio goodies. If you use my code DTDanny, you will get 10% off as well. So I'm starting out with some white cardstock there, as you can see, and I'm just deciding what I'm going to use for my border. So I do end up pulling out the pretty floral there. It's got a very soft floral print on a white background, and I'm just going to trim off enough of my white cardstock to leave a bit of that floral paper showing as a border. And then I'm going to cut out the center of the paper because I don't want to waste the rest of that absolutely gorgeous paper. So there we go. I'm using my Bostik tape runner because my ATG is empty and I don't want to reload it. So I'm just being a bit lazy with that, but I will get there. So this tape definitely isn't as good as the Scotch tape, so I'm going to go ahead and reinforce with glue and stitching where I can. So off camera there, I've taken my sewing machine and I have stitched just some white machine stitching all the way around the edge of that white cardstock. Taking my photo, I'm just trimming a little bit off the end there, and I'm thinking about some paper to mat. So first I'm going to take some white. I do tend to like to leave a white border on my photos, especially on a background like this where my photo is quite soft and I'm going to be using lots of sort of soft colors and pastels. Just think that white border is pretty. So there we go. I'm having a bit of a fuss. I have a rough idea of what I want to do, so I'm pretty sure I want to have that cut file off to the right, and I sort of want to overlap it a little bit over that blank space in my photo. So I'm looking at photo mats here. My first layer is going to be this beautiful soft pink sort of ledger paper. Now I'm using a bit of glue on my photo. I don't tend to like to do that, but like I said, this tape runner isn't as reliable as my Scotch ATG. Definitely going to have to pull that out and reload it shortly. Beautiful pink paper. Just trim off a bit more. Go. Just fussing and fiddling around now. Pretty sure that's how I'm going to set out my page. So now I'm going to start to back my cut file with some of these papers. So I'm using that beautiful pink watercolor, and that's the reverse of that paper that I have as my border. Just using a little bit of a tacky glue to adhere that down, and then I'll go in with my scissors and trim off the excess. That tacky glue dries pretty quickly, so I don't have to wait too long between gluing and trimming. Now I'm not going to back all of the hearts. I do want to leave some of them empty because I am going to do some mixed media in the background, so I want that to sort of peek out from between some of the empty hearts. So there we go. Now I'm going to cut into this cut apart journal card sheet, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a few from that actually, so you can see off camera there. I'm not going to make you watch me back this whole thing, but I have used some of that floral border paper and I've used some of that white and light grey sort of polka dot card. And I'm going to use a couple of these other cards as well. I'm going to use that blue watercolor there. And I'm trying to do these in threes. So most of those patterns I've repeated in threes. And then also that love heart print card. You can see there it's got some pastel little love hearts on it and just a white background. And then I just want one in the middle with that sort of scripty font. And that's pretty much my whole cut file back there, I think. So because I've used that scripty font, I want to use some of that to back my photo as well. lining it up so I get the script positioned how I like it. Go. It is quite bold, but it has the white background, so it's not too bad. And it isn't black, it's more of a charcoal grey sort of colour. So, now I didn't like how that looked at the top there, so I did pull that off. And I just leave it at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead with a few more layers. These are just bits I had left over from when I backed the cut file. Those random scrappy little bits and pieces, but they're enough to do some matting with. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of those up. So that one is just the rest of that soft blue watercolor card. Sneak a bit of that onto there on either side. Some soft pastels. A little bit more at the bottom. There we go. I think that's just about done for my layers. Yep, so now I'm going to take some foam. This isn't adhesive foam, it's just plain old craft foam, so I do have to glue this down myself. So tape runner didn't work very well on it. The ATG does, but that tape runner just didn't like it, so I just use a little bit of tacky glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and pretty much back my entire cut file with the foam as well. So this took me quite a while. I put the TV on. And now I'm going in with some gesso because I'm going to do some mixed media. So just a thin coating of gesso behind my cut file. And you can see that it is white gesso, but it does come off a little bit more off-white. So I'm blending the edges with my finger just so that contrast isn't so obvious. Now these paints, they're from Spotlight. They're the Semco brand pearlescent paints, and they were very inexpensive. They were under $10, and they're just sort of pearlescent watercolors. So probably not the best quality, but I really like them. They're very pretty. When they're dry, they come out very shimmery and pearly, and yeah, good for a budget. So I'm just going to go ahead with a couple of the pastel colors, just some more of that pink and blue. I'm not going super colorful. I want to keep it very soft and muted. So I'm just going to plop on some of the pink, using a bit of packaging there just to smush it around. It looks horrible in this light. It looks grey for some reason. I think it's just the lighting because it doesn't look grey. It didn't look grey while I was doing it, and it doesn't look grey now that it's finished. So I think my lighting was a little bit yucky today. So there we go, that's all done. So I just used pink and blue and put in a bunch of splatters, and I went in with my Kaisercraft Gold mist and sprayed some, splattered some drops around that. So that sheet there was from the sticker sheet from the More Than Words collection kit, and I've just used that starburst down at the bottom of my photo because I like that love heart. And then I'm breaking into the chipboard stickers. So I'm taking that Precious, that just really beautiful. I wanted to use that as soon as I saw the pack of chipboard. So I just peeled off the adhesive off the back so I can reposition it a bit. And then these are thickers, the beautiful thickers, and they're glitter, gold glitter, and they're just gorgeous. And I really wanted to use this Darling script, but I think it's quite large, and the Precious is already script, so I felt like two scripty words together, it was just a bit too much, and I couldn't get it to sit nicely, and unfortunately it just wasn't working. So I take that off, and I'm sort of a bit stumped now, so I'm just going to go ahead. I know I want my photo there, so I'm going to go ahead and start to glue that down. I think if you're struggling a bit with a section of a layout, just sort of move on to something else. So positioning my cut file too, I'm pretty happy with that. There's nowhere else that can go really, so that's all going to get stuck down. Just a bit of tacky glue. Lots of gluing. So, and I'm just popping down a book on top of that to keep it flat while it dried. So now I've broken into some of the chipboard words, and I like this better. It's a similar sort of script, and I thought now that I have some of that script paper that has that dark charcoal script on it in my mat and in my little heart there, I thought a bit more charcoal would work. So I do like that Precious. So my title ends up being Precious You. And I'm just popping some of that up because I popped the cut file up on foam and it is overlapping the cut file. I am popping up the other end of my title on some foam. So just using my phone there to make that sit flat. My paper is a little bit buckled because I used mixed media on the background. It's not too bad because I used the gesso, but it still warps it slightly. So just while it's drying, I am just trying to get that positioned exactly right. So yeah, just pop my phone on top, give it 5 minutes to dry, that's fine. So now for some reason, it looks fine now that I see it on camera, but at the time I thought that the script in that was just too dark and bold, so I'm just going ahead with a bit of white acrylic paint and blurring that out a little bit. So back into the chipboard now. I do want to add some more pops of charcoal because I have the charcoal in the title, so I'm taking that little spotty heart there. And then the chipboard words has some hearts on it too, which is nice. So little grey heart up the top. So I'm just filling in some of those empty hearts now. So another chipboard heart, little pink and white stripe one in that empty one. I like that there. Back into the sticker sheet, there's a couple of tabs. I really like that pink one, so that will go on, but I just realised this one here says Wonderful, this blue one. So the whole title is Precious Wonderful You, which I think is just super sweet. Little pink tab down the bottom. Now I'm taking some of the word strips, and they're like little typewritten phrases, and I really like those. So I'm going to put So Cute up the top, and then So Special there, and then I want a third one. And I'm going to try and squeeze that into another of my empty hearts to fill that one up. Now they were in a bit too much of a line for me, for my liking there, so I moved the So Cute. This one I fussy cut it out of the cut apart sheet, and I liked it. I was really trying to squeeze it in, but I thought it was just a bit too much with it, so I'm going to leave it alone. Now I'm taking some of that's just the strip I cut off the edge of my white cardstock, and I'm going to put in my journaling, which is nothing special. It pretty much just says Violet, 4 months old, and the date. So I'm using my grey statler there, but I kind of want to stagger it down the bottom here with that so special. So it wasn't dark enough, so I'm just going over that with some of this gel pen. It's like a dark grey, and that matches a lot better. Decided I wanted to sneak some doily, and you guys know I never know when to stop, so I'm just taking some doily, cutting off some little bits of it, and I'm going to put some around my photo there. And because I've already glued my photo down, I have to like mess with trimming off bits to make it fit in there, but I get it in there in the end, and I'm just going to add another pop of doily, a third section of doily up, just peeking out from behind my hearts here. Really like that little added softness. I'm going to glue my little word strips in here. I'm just going to stagger them with that sticker. Sort of follow the curve of that heart. Like that. And then I'm going in with the More Than Words enamel dots. So I'm taking the hearts, and I'm going to use one of my empty hearts, and then another one here. Now I use a white one there, but I do think I end up changing that out for a pink one before I'm finished with the layout, but I do that off camera. So now I'm just sprinkling more little hearts all over the place, as if this layout didn't have enough hearts. But I really love them. They're very, very sweet. And just add a third one to that little cluster down the do like to do things in thirds if I can. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Yep, I'm all finished. So here come the close-ups. I love this. It's turned out so pretty. Absolutely love it. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and check my description box for the links and discount codes. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.